Hey guys, I'm back.
Yeah, so what's been going on? I moved. Yay. Um, I'm, yeah, so, yeah, got it. Uh, ODCon. I didn't really tell you all much about ODCon. I had a great time. I volunteered for the first time, which I really suggest you do. It is a great way to save money, get free meals, free water, and meet some really awesome people. And you know what? You get to cut in line because you're volunteering. So you get to actually go into the concerts backstage, you get to meet the band. If you give them something, uh, it's really fucking cool. Okay, so I'm going to explain some of the stuff I wore. I have three items. The first one is my circle skirt. Yay, because I went Lolita this year. Yay. Okay, so I'm not that good with circle skirts. I know it's a basic skirt, but it's a basic skirt that I'm just not good at. I know. It's sad, right? Um, so let's see what happened. I went with a panel circle skirt. Well, of course it's a panel, because that's how it becomes a circle skirt. But I chose a 4-panel circle skirt. Um, and it came out really great, I think. And I used an elastic waist. The waist I made separate. I made it in. Then I stitched the skirt panels to it, and yeah, so it made it very comfortable, and I could adjust it up or down. Um, I thought about doing a zipper, but I decided against it because I don't know my size, how it's going to go up or down, and elastic is pretty consistent for at least 2 or 3 sizes, so that's good. Um, yeah, so the circle skirt, I chose this really pretty Japanese pattern, and I went a long way to find this fabric. Yeah, I frustrated my mom. I so did, because she drove me, and yeah, she hated it. Well, not the actual fabric. She hated driving me, because I got us lost. Don't trust me with a map, people. Never. I am terrible with them. I will get us lost. 3 times in one trip. Thank you very much. Okay, so here is the pattern. I don't know how well that's coming across. Normally I don't choose patterns with polka dots or anything like that, but I really like the colors and I really like the detail, if you can see it well. I don't know if you could, but it has little gold details along the entire thing, and it has some of my most favorite colors, and it worked really well for the season because it was October. These are Japanese autumn colors. You can actually, I think, see that a little bit better back here. Oh. And it went great with my skin tone. And I chose to go with the plain black wa style, well, kimono style top. And that I have somewhere that needs to be washed, so you will not see it. But it came out really well. Um, and so yeah, normal circle skirt, panel. Yeah, so yay. Next, we have my modified version of an obi. Now this, me and my mom came up with this idea because, well, the thing about being big with obis is that unless you really want to spend the time to make an obi, which, I mean, as gorgeous as they are, they can be hard to adjust. Um, they're they're not the most comfortable things to sit down in. up, down, move around. No, they're not really comfortable to do that in. Unless you wear them all the time and you're completely used to them. Especially when you're bigger and you're rounder, which means the obi will round. So, what my mom and I did, we made this modified version. Now, is this beautiful Japanese fabric. These are golden threads, and it's not real gold, but it's beautiful. And then what we did was we took, since I was using black for a top, and the gold matches the gold with the skirt. Thing about Japanese, obi to kimono, not usually matchy-matchy like you would believe. If you know anything about real kimono, the kimono and obi are actually separate pieces. Yeah. So, what we did was we made this into an obi type, like the right width for my body type and everything. Because obi can be very long or very short. This was a good medium-sized obi that worked really well. And what we did is in the very center, right where my belly is, we put a piece of thick cardboard. Now, cardboard, usually you're like, cardboard breaks, it bends. Well, yeah, it does. But this is how we got it to work. What we did was, in this section, we made buttonholes. Giant buttonholes. Now, you're wondering, why would you need buttonholes? Well, that's because of these. Now, if you know anything about obi, sometimes you'll see a sash or tie that goes around the obi. Sometimes not. It depends on what obi style. But what we did was, we would wrap this around me, and then this would tie in the front, and we'd make a perfect bow that I could either tuck under or show. And it would go through, and depending on where we placed this through, it would tighten or loosen. This being said, if I wanted it really tight for when I'm standing up, it would be perfectly flat. If I wanted it loose, it would still stay flat without bending. You see how that works. Now, we made this and it's basically a sleeve. So, and here, this side is hand stitched in. So if we need to replace the inside, then I can easily just take a seam ripper, rip it up, and then take out the cardboard and put some more in. So everything works really well. It's also a way to make sure you can pack it up really quickly without worrying too much. See, you just fold it up like that, and it does not take up a lot of space, and you don't worry about expensive silk ruining, because a lot of raw material and all the little material should look nice and expensive, even if it isn't, because it's about quality. Now, last is the underskirt that I made. Me and my mom made this together, and it was a great idea of hers, because I'd never really made an underskirt like this before. And so what I did, and she did, was we got a tight underskirt, slip, rather, and so I'm a 4X. I got a, what is it? Apparently I cut out the tag, but it's like a 1X or a 2X slip. I think it was a 2X. And so you put on that slip and it's pretty tight. It's snug. Well, that's a good thing, because what you want is it for the slip part not to move, but you want this material that is flat against your skin. Now, what we did is we took the tulle, this stuff, And we ran, well, actually I ran, because I'm the one with the young fingers, as my mom likes to say. And I ran needle and thread through every 5 little holes. If you see up close, I don't know how well you can see that, there are little holes. And so for every 5 little spaces, we bunched and gathered it. And what this did was it made little pleats. And in those little pleats, we tied together, and we, not tied but sewed rather, to a stiffer piece of fabric. This was just leftover fabric I had laying around from a previous costume, and so it was good to use it. And so you sew it to the stiff fabric after you make all your pleats. From there, what we did was we then sewed these to the actual slip. And what we did was, when we were doing the little pleats, if you can see, most of this is done actually not in one layer. It's actually, the bottom one is done in a double layer, while the top one is done in a single layer. And what this does is it gives it a line or bubble skirt look, depending on what skirt you're actually wearing. If you're wearing an A-line skirt, it's going to look like an A-line. If you're wearing a circle skirt, you're going to get that perfect cupcake look that you want for Sweet Lolita, or pretty much a lot of Lolita types. So, now, do I suggest actually doing this? I do, if you have time. Because this skirt took me 3 days. It took us 3 days, working back and forth together. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal until you realize how much work you actually put in doing this, compared to everything else. Because it took us 5 hours to make a circle skirt and obi, and that includes all the cutting, measuring, and everything. It took us 3 full days of work to make this one skirt. But why is it worth it? Well, most underskirts you get are very cheap. Now, that's not to say this was cheap. For 12 yards of this stuff, I spent $20, thank you very much. And that's quite a good deal, trust me. And so, yeah. Usually, for one of those skirts, though, you're going to pay $20. You think, well, if I can get one of those skirts for $20, why would I spend that much time making one for a little over 20? Here's the thing. Those skirts are not layered as well, and so for $20, you're usually only getting 1 or 2 layers of tulle, and it's lengthwise layers. It's only going to stay poofy for maybe a few days. After that, it's going to go completely flat. And a lot of people have had this trouble. And so you end up with an inferior thing that you have to keep replacing, or you have to layer multiple ones. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to continue this on a continuation video. Okay, talk to you in a sec.